Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Black Beauty and Business Podcast. Welcome, Royal Remnant community. As you know, I'm your host, Pamela LaShawn. If this is your first time, understanding that this is a safe space. We will be discussing topics from our culture, from the beauty industry, business, and being entrepreneurs. Today, I am honored and privileged to have my friend and my amazing loctician or hairstylist, I want to say, because she's been doing my hair even before I got locked, um, Miss Danielle Lowe. Now, Miss Danielle, I'm going to let you introduce yourself and let everybody know who you are, and we're going to get started.
Hi, everybody. I am Danielle. I am the owner and hair therapist at Danielle's Hair Therapy Salon. I am in Martinez, Georgia, 4387 Ridge Trail. Hair therapy by Danielle.com. You can find me on all social media outlets, Danielle's Hair Therapy Salon. Reach out to me for any questions, comments, concerns. I'm here for whatever hair therapy issues you have.
So she's trying to be very humble today. So we're gonna pull her up out of her shell, you all. Okay. Danielle, how long have you been doing hair? Let's start there. How long have you been doing hair?
That's a trick question. I have been licensed since 2003. But I started out working in a salon as a shampoo assistant when I was in maybe like 8th grade. So about 90, I would say about 98.
Y'all, Danielle was one of the first people to ever put a sew-in my head when we was in high school. The very first person to ever put a sew into my head. So that's how far back me and her go. So as you already know, you all, last episode we had Cammy who does the eyebrows and lashes. Today we have Danielle who specializes in hair. So this episode we will be talking about the evolution of our crown. As many of you know, our hair is just not hair. Um, our hair carries memories, it carries meanings, it's a message. And even before all of the political stuff has gone on about hair and all of that stuff and the stereotypes and all of that, our hair was legacy. Um, and so today's conversation is just going to be about the history of it. It's going to be about what it means to heal with your hair. It's going to be about the growth of your hair, taking care of your hair. And we're just going to have a real raw conversation because I'm a firm believer that your hair carries energy. I don't know about anybody else, but they have that saying where you could tell when a woman is going through changes in her life because she does something different with her hair. And so we're going to kind of dive into that just a little bit. Now, Danielle, we know each other, so I'm going to act like I don't really know some of these answers to these questions. Um, but when it comes to the evolution of black hair, as you know, you've already said you've been doing hair since you were in 8th grade. What can you say about the evolution of our hair in our culture?
Well, for one, we have started taking our hair more seriously. We've always worried about how we present ourselves. Like a lot of us grew up where our parents, our grandparents, like we got dressed up or they got dressed up just to go to the bank. You know, it was more than just getting dressed up to go to church. They were very keen on how they presented themselves. If they didn't have but one or two good outfits, they used those good outfits to go to the bank, to go to church for very special occasions. Nowadays, we've gotten away from relaxers as much, but we are learning to take care of our natural hair. I mean, a lot of us are going back to relaxers, but nowadays is more about a personal choice versus what society tells us is acceptable. So that's what I would say has been the more of the evolution.
So speaking of natural hair, as y'all know, my beautiful locks. Before, let's say, slavery, right? Hair was a sacred language back in pre-colonial Africa, right? Braids, twists, all of those basically communicated the tribe. They communicated a person's age, their status, their spirituality, all of that. Hair was very intentional. Hair was considered, as the title of this episode, your crown. Um, when you talk about how we present ourselves and, not just going to church and all of that, scripture does tell us that we are fearfully and wonderfully made, right? That truth existed before anything. So where do you believe um, God's design or a higher power's design shows up when it comes to the standards of beauty in our hair?
That was a lot. um okay, let's break that question down.
Okay.
Um our hair uh, our hair was used as more our hair is more than just hair. Let's start there.
Mm-hmm.
Our hair is more than just hair. Technically, when it comes to a higher power, our hair is in a sense, our hair is our antenna. Our hair is the in between for us and the higher power. Our
Mm-hmm.
look at our hair as like antennas. That is the energy. That's your hair holds the energy that your body releases in a sense. Think of it as a in a way as like when you get goosebumps or when something happens and you can feel the hair stand up on your body. It's that type of thing. Your hair feels energy. Your hair transmutes energy. Your hair is energy. So it's not just hair. Your hair is an antenna. I don't really know how else to explain that. So it's more
No.
than just looking good. Don't get me wrong, we want to look good. Don't get me wrong. But your hair holds energy. That's why when you say we go through things, we feel a need to change it because we're holding on to all that energy, especially people with locks, because you're not even shedding that old energy. If we don't have locks, if we just have braids or even relaxers, or if we're steady combing our hair every day, our hair naturally sheds. So some of that energy naturally sheds off. But somebody with locks, that shedding hair is just held in those locks. So those people definitely feel a need to shed old energy because it's still there. It's trapped. So that's why a lot of times when we go through things, especially traumatic and drastic, we feel a need to a lot of times cut drastically cut our hair because we need to feel a weight lifted or we need to shed or we just need to feel some type of release, some type of change. So that's definitely true. That's definitely true. Even if we can't explain it, we feel it.
I love that. I love the fact that how you broke that down, where as we shed hair, it releases the energy. But for those of us that can't shed our hair because we're locked up
Mhm.
or so forth, um, it traps that energy in. So we're stuck. So it kind of reminds me a lot of times where a lot of people cut off locks and they have that weight lifted off of them because it is like a release. They're stuck in a different energy that they're trying to get out of. So I love that the way that you broke that down. Um, in your opinion, as a cosmetologist, master cosmetologist, I'm my bad. Correct that. And there is a difference, you all. So y'all don't
It's definitely
know.
a difference. There's
There is a
definitely a
difference
difference.
between. Matter of fact, let's
There's
talk about
definitely a
what is
difference.
the difference between a master cosmetologist and a cosmetologist. I want to answer that question so y'all understand her expertise when I go into the next question.
A cosmetologist is licensed to do hair, period. That's it. A master cosmetologist is licensed to do anything in the field of cosmetology, whether that's hair, nails, makeup, esthetician, anything covered under cosmetology, I am licensed to do.
And she does amazing. Just
Now, that
um
doesn't mean I have to practice all of those things, but I am
mhm.
technically licensed to do anything that falls under the term cosmetology. But as a regular cosmetologist, technically you only are licensed to do hair.
And y'all have to maintain like credit hours and like continue school and classes and things like that,
Hmm.
correct?
You renew
Okay.
your license every 2 years and you're expected to do so many credit hours of continuing education. Yeah.
Okay.
Hmm.
So she knows what she's talking about, y'all, when we start really diving into these questions. So as we were talking about the shedding of the energy and your hair and all of that, we know that during slavery, our hair was used as a tool of I'm gonna erase your identity, right? So they basically utilized our hair to break our spirits. They wouldn't allow tools. We kind of had to get a lot creative, right? Um, when people come into your salon, how often do you see people base their identity and who they are on their hair?
I mean, your hair is your identity. So you have to, in a sense, your hair is who you are to a lot of people. But let's back up because we when let's go back to what you said about slavery.
Okay.
Because yes, they look. Let's back up. The other people
Mm-hmm.
who do
You
not have
you
our type of
you can
hair.
say it. You can say it.
Well, I
You
mean,
can
I'm
say it.
friendly with the other people, so I don't want to. I like them too sometimes. So anyway, they don't know what we need. So we can't expect them to give us what we need if they don't know. And let's be honest, we don't know what we need either. That was the
Mm-hmm.
whole thing with the whole natural movement. The whole natural movement, was the problem was we didn't know how to maintain our own natural hair. That's why relaxers were so popular. Relaxers made our hair more manageable and easier for us to be able to maintain. That's where it got out of control because we weren't maintaining them correctly in a healthy way. So the natural movement came into play because people felt like we should know how to maintain our hair in our natural state, right? So everybody went back to being natural, right? But we can't expect them to give us
Mm-hmm.
what we need if we don't even know what we need, right? So that was the whole issue. The industry, which was mostly ran by
Mm-hmm.
them, even for our products, they didn't know. They just didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why the whole natural thing kind of blew up because there was this big explosion of everybody trying to figure out what was going to work for us, especially since we were now exploring how to do our own natural thing. We wanted natural products. We wanted tools for our natural hair. We wanted to wear our natural hair now. Now we wanted our natural hair to be accepted. So even though we wanted to be accepted, we needed to make ourselves presentable in this natural state. So we had to figure out how to make that work. So that's what was going on. Now, don't get me wrong. In slavery, of course, they wanted to find every excuse they could to keep us down, but it wasn't hard when even we didn't know, you know. So, so I can't completely
Right.
blame that on them. But
So
for us, it was
let
just
me ask
easier to
this
make
question.
it like theirs so we could use their products. So that's why relaxers was easier. Because if we made it straight, we could just use what they were using.
So that's a very different perspective, but a very from your expertise, it's a valid perspective, right? Because you're in the hair industry, whereas some of us on
Hmm.
the outside, we look at it as um they controlled and wanted us to compromise who we are. Because keep in mind, back in Africa, your hair represented status, right? Your hair represented the tribe you were from. It was like your crown and glory, right? Who has the biggest crown? Who has the biggest? That's what it represented. So they took that away
Mhm.
from us. So for us to be utilizing their products or straightening our hair or compromising that, although it is manageable, and for some people that's what they do it for, it has nothing to do with their identity. It's like, listen, I just need to be able to maintain all of this right here and make my life easier. But for some people, it's a control thing. So that's very interesting how you use that perspective. Um, this is why y'all I had her on the show, because me and her conversations in the shop be on point.
I like to play
Um,
devil's advocate because I can see both sides. I get both
right.
arguments though. Because I mean, of course, if they brought us over here, we got to learn to conform. I get it. Like we're not in Africa anymore. So what do we do now that we're here and there's nobody here to teach us the African ways? You know what I mean? So I get it.
So as a black hairstylist, master cosmetologist, we know you have a lot of people that have come before you and that have made um I'm gonna do a plug right here for you, even though you're not gonna do it yourself. Have made products have made products to help our hair and help manage our hair, like Madam CJ Walker, and others like that. You are very keen on your scalp and the healthiness of your scalp, which you also have created products for the healthiness of your scalp. So just take a moment to talk about the benefits of a healthy scalp, how that'll help manage your hair and all of that. And let's talk about your products that you have sitting over there in the corner in a box.
You gonna put me on the spot. Okay. Well, first of all, let's go to the healthy scalp. I'm a work in progress. Look. But let's go to the healthy scalp. The healthy scalp is the most important thing. You can't grow good hair out of a bad scalp. Point blank. My grandmother was a great she used to keep great gardens. She always grew flowers and vegetables and she made it look so simple. And I wish I would have paid attention back then because I think it would have helped me more doing hair. But the
Mhm.
best analogy I can make is the better your soil, the better your plants grow, right? And the
Hmm.
same thing with your hair. The better your scalp, the better your hair can grow. It just makes sense. It is the same thing like when your hair grows, you got to keep your ends trimmed, right? Same thing with plants. If your plant grows and it has dead leaves, you can't leave the dead leaves on the plant, right? You got to pull the dead leaves off, right? I used to always see my grandma go around pulling dead leaves off plants, even if they weren't her plants. That's a whole nother conversation though. But she would pull dead leaves off of plants because she would always talk about how that stops them from growing. It's the same thing with your hair. So I wish I paid more attention because it makes a lot of sense with your hair. The same way you grow plants and flowers, it's the same way that you grow hair. So if you keep the soil, you keep your scalp moisturized and healthy, then you can grow better hair. And a lot of people think, and this is just my personal opinion, there are more than one way to skin cats. Okay. So just because
Mhm.
this is my opinion does not mean there's not another stylist or master cosmetologist out there that has another way that does not work. Okay. Just my disclaimer before I say that. I don't want nobody trolling me on the internet because my way is different than they stylist they've been going to for 30 years. Okay. But for me, I tell people stop buying a bunch of products. Like the less products you use, the better, right? Find one product at a time that works. If you putting a bunch of products on top of each other, you don't know which one working and which one's not. Right? Start from the beginning. Just start fresh, right? Find your shampoo and your conditioner first. Figure out what is going to clean and condition your scalp first and go from there. Then you can work on what's going to keep your scalp moisturized or what oils you need and go from there. But if you putting just a bunch of products because somebody said this worked and somebody said I need this, and YouTube, don't get me started on YouTube University, please, and TikTok, just stop buying a bunch of products. You do not need to be putting 5, 10 products in your hair at one time. If you break it down and just keep your scalp and your hair clean on a consistent basis, start there, and that's all you need. But yes, I do have shampoos, conditioners, leave-in conditioner. I have a hair growth oil. I have some foam wrap. I also have a very good edge control that works, that does not turn white and does not get hard and crispy, but holds all day. I do have those products for sale in my salon, yes. But you will be surprised, like the less you use on your hair, the better. But focus on keeping your hair clean first versus a bunch of products to try to um I don't know, feed your hair, I guess. I don't know. But consistent cleanliness, maintenance is more important than a bunch of products to put on your hair every day. I promise. I promise.
Just FYI, y'all, she fussing at me, but it's all good.
I'm fussing at everybody. I'm not just fussing at you. I promise you, I'm fussing at everybody because with social media and the way everything is set up now, they sell you everything. They sell
Hmm.
you everything. And you really don't need all that stuff. Just keep your hair clean. Like most people don't even shampoo their hair every week or every other week. You'll be surprised how many people go a month or 2 months without shampoo their hair, especially natural. Natural people shampoo their hair the least. I could do a poll right now, and I promise you, somebody watching this. I ain't gonna tell nobody. Y'all all right? I ain't gonna tell nobody. Just come on, see me. Just come on.
Listen, go see her because let me tell you, I don't know what it's called, y'all. But
And my
um,
shampoo, your scalp is gonna feel clean when you get out my
listen,
shampoo bowl. I ain't even gotta blow dry your hair. You gonna know your scalp is clean when I finish. I
let me
promise
tell. Listen. She didn't even tell y'all about the scalp services that she offer with. Listen, book her right now. Go to her website right now. I'm telling you, even if you go just one time to understand the amazing feeling that you have when you
it
go
only
sit
take one time.
bowl. It is okay. So there's different ones, y'all, that she have, and every time I book my appointment, I literally have to text her and be like, "Okay, what am I supposed to be booking?" Because she has a variety of different scalp treatments that she used. So we're going to talk about that too. But I also want to talk about, since we're talking about the scalp, about a person's energy and how it comes through your scalp. Like if they're stressed, if they're not eating right, all of that. How would that come out in your scalp?
Oh, it definitely comes out, especially stress.
Hmm.
Especially stress. You stress will make your hair fall out. Period. And
Yes.
point blank. I promise you, you will have bald spots from stress. And I have clients that can tell you within a week or two. I have clients that come every 2 weeks, and if they stressing out, I can see it. Within 2 weeks, I can see it in their scalp, and they don't do their hair at home. I promise you, I can see it. Um, Stress is the main one. Stress, medicines, different type of medications you take, birth control, um of course, smoking. I can tell if you smoke without you telling me. If you do a lot of drinking, unfortunately, I can tell. It's a lot I can tell on just your scalp. And you can lie to me in your consultation and I can tell on your scalp. I can tell if you lie to me about the products you use. Um your scalp tells on you. I can tell if you mental disorders sometimes, if you going through things, oh, you just be surprised. Like when they say your stylist is your therapist, they aren't lying. They aren't lying. Like it sometimes it takes a lot out of me to just to do somebody's hair. Like you would be surprised. Like I want to cry right now thinking about somebody, thinking about somebody because I can do somebody's hair, and you think it's just doing hair. You
Mm-hmm.
really think it's just doing hair, but like I'm thinking about a person right now. I did a lady's hair. She had not touched her hair in over a year, and when I say not touched their hair, not combed it, not put it in a ponytail. Her hair was one big dreadlock in
Mm.
over a year. That's deep. And that's more than just being lazy. That's some emotional, that's some mental trauma. That's a lot. And my thing was, how can I help you so that this doesn't happen again? Forget just wanting to make you look good, because that's easy. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like I can easily do your hair and get whatever I'm finna charge you for this service. But my heart was broke because I was like, what are you going through that makes you not even want to touch your hair for a year? Like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah.
I loved
And
it though.
um and so when you come and you're going through, listen, and I'm only speaking, y'all, from experience, because, and I'm not going to be emotional, but
I
Danielle
know, right? I don't
has
know why I'm getting emotional.
Danielle has seen me through some very rough times. And there's times where we don't even really necessarily have to talk about what I'm going through, but she can tell I'm going through something. Like I remember one time I came in not too long after I had my son, and I was like, just cut it all off. And she kind of looked at me like, huh? Matter of fact, the first time, be honest with y'all, the first time I told her to cut it all off, she didn't cut it all off. She didn't. She
And
gave me a
I'm
little
not a person
trim.
that's scared to cut hair. Don't get me wrong, because I
Oh,
will
she
cut
not.
somebody's hair. Like
But
I
she
will
was like,
cut
no,
somebody's hair.
just, I want you to think about that, because at the time, y'all, I was going through postpartum. So some of my hair was already thinning and coming out. And she was like, no, we could just get it back healthy. You don't need to cut it all off. Like, what are you doing? And I had a lot of hair on my head, y'all, at the time. She was like, just think about it. Yeah, I thought about it. The next time I came in, and I was like, yeah, go and cut all this. Go and cut it off. Go cut it all off and color it. And she did. But when you go into her shop, y'all, and like she said, it's what you carry is in your hair. But the way that she does hair, if you ever go to somebody that's really, really good at what they do, you can sit and get your scalp clean, and it legit feels like a release.
Hmm.
Like, and then she'll talk to you about, you all right, you good? Because I could be sitting there, be tears rolling, like, what you got going on, you know? Um, so how do you handle for yourself carrying other people's energy? What do you do for yourself?
Mm.
Because
That's a
as you
good
said,
question.
you deal with a lot of different people. You got a lot of different personalities, a lot of different people's energies coming in and out of your shop. How do you, one, keep your shop protected? Um, and then two, how do you keep yourself emotionally protected?
That's a good question because a lot of people don't look at. Okay, first of all, I treat my salon as a ministry, right? I don't force ministry on people, right? But I do treat it as a ministry. So just like you, if you were doing a church service, you got to pray and protect your ministry before you minister unto people, right? So I got to make sure I'm good before I come in here. Right? I got to make
Mm-hmm.
sure my space is good. I got to make sure the energy in my space is good. I got to make sure the space is protected. Um, I definitely stay prayed up. I definitely stay prayed up. I have to make sure my faith is grounded because you have no idea what energy you're gonna deal with, right? And you don't know whether or not your faith is gonna match the faith of whoever is sitting in your chair. So you gotta be grounded. You gotta be grounded. Um, and then you also got to look at it like every day I'm ministering unto everybody's hair, right? I'm dealing with all these different energies, but we also have to remember that life happens for me too.
Right.
So I don't want to make I want to make sure that whatever I'm going through, I'm not putting that onto anybody else. I don't want to be shedding whatever energy I don't want into anybody else too.
Mm-hmm.
So I make sure, whatever I'm going through, I try to leave it outside. Or I try to at least make sure when I'm dealing with a client, I try to make sure, I'm focused on the client. I'm not making sure that energy isn't leaking off of me onto that client. But yeah, faith is definitely a strong thing. And me and you have definitely had those conversations. And there have been times where I've had to tell clients, I can't do it today. And the real clients understand, especially your faithful clients, because your faithful clients know you. you know the ones that have been with you for a while, they might not know exactly what you're going through, but they know you're going through something, so they understand. They know you might need a quote unquote mental health day or whatever the case may be. But the ones that don't understand, guess what, those aren't clients for me, right? So yeah, it's 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 definitely a challenge. I don't know how to explain it or what words to put on that, but um, it took me going through some things to realize how much of a ministry it actually is. But I
Mm-hmm.
chose the name hair therapy for a reason. But I didn't realize when I chose the name that it was therapy for me too.
You were thinking of other people um,
Hmm.
at the time. So let's talk about Danielle's hair therapy salon. What have been some moments of, let's talk about some high moments for you, and let's talk about some low moments and what you learned from both.
Okay, high moments. I think every time I've moved into a different salon was a high moment because each salon was like a step up, or
Okay.
it was a different type of salon. So I felt like I've learned something from every salon I've been in. Um, so each time was a high moment for me. I've had a lot of low moments. I mean, anytime you're in a entrepreneur situation, you're gonna have a lot of low moments. There are a lot of days where you feel like you might not make it. It's a lot of days where you're wondering, am I gonna be able to make these bills meet? Am I gonna be able to keep these doors open? Um, where's this money gonna come from next week or next month or whatever the case? The lowest moment for me might have been probably COVID. Probably COVID. Because we went from um I mean, of course, the world not knowing what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
But then we went from working one day to, oh, you got to be closed in 2 days or whatever the case was. And then it was like, oh, we don't know when you're going to be able to open back up, which is one thing when you in a regular job where you get a check and there's HR and corporate offices, and it's easy for you to get unemployment. But then when you own a salon
Yeah.
and you got people working for you, which I had somebody working for me at the time, it's like, I still got to pay rent. I got clients. How am I going to keep my clients? How am I going to make sure I can pay rent? Whenever I do open back up, I'm going to owe rent from all the time I was closed. Like, how is this, how is this going to work?
Yeah.
So, that was probably the lowest moment since I've been doing hair. And I still wonder sometimes, like, how to prepare for something like that if it was to happen again. So I think that was the lowest. But I mean, I've had other low moments too, where things have happened in my personal life. And of course, it's going to affect your business because you're an entrepreneur. So
Mm-hmm.
anything that happens in your personal life affects your business. Anything that happens in your business is going to affect your personal life. And you just got to figure out how to make it work.
Um, with COVID, um, how or what would you recommend for somebody as yourself to be able to prepare if something like that was to happen again? Do you have like a backup
Um,
plan or like a strategy, or what would be your contingent plan, I guess you could say?
it's almost impossible to plan for something like COVID. The best thing you can do is have a savings. Make sure you have your insurance up to date. You know, lucky for us, we were able to get some type of self employment for a little while, but COVID was just unpredictable. But just
Yeah.
making sure the best thing that helped me in most, even though we're small businesses, the fact that my business was set up like a business and not like just some regular self-employed business was what helped me the most. My business was set up like a LLC. I had an EIN, I had my articles, everything was set up. I had a business bank account. I was a legit business. I file a business tax return, I file a personal tax return. I have a business, legit business. That's what helped me. I'm not filing personal, tax returns with some self-employment money on it. No, I had a legit business tax return, a legit personal tax return. I had a legit business bank account. Like I had everything set up the way it's supposed to be set up. So I was able to get help and funding and things like that when it came to like SBA and different things that were offered to us. But if you didn't have those type of things set up, there was no help. And the people that lied are getting caught up. So I didn't
Are
have to
they?
lie.
But you gave some, even indirectly, you gave some great nuggets. If people listen to what she said, a lot of entrepreneurs that I have had the privilege of working with or just speaking with, a lot of them don't understand still having a savings account, right?
Mhm,
Like you hear so many, I'm like, but if you have a savings account for your personal life, why wouldn't you have a savings account for your business as well? You know,
mhm,
oh, I got all my money, and yeah, you can have your regular checking account, but the savings account is to prepare and to save things to happen. um I love the fact that you gave the insurance. You'd be surprised how many business owners don't have insurance.
and
um
business insurance is not expensive.
right.
I promise you, business insurance is not expensive at all. It's way cheaper than my car insurance.
And then I love the fact that you said um a legit business. We, as a culture, that I have learned that we are so hustle minded that
Mhm,
we get to do the administrative side of handling business, right? We all
mhm.
about get the money, get the money, get the money, get the money, get the money. But when it comes down to really handling our business, we as a culture tend to miss that. But then you also have, as a culture, we gatekeep a lot, right? We don't share knowledge, and we don't share information, and we don't, share tips and all of that stuff. Have you, because you've been in the game a long time, like you've been in the game a long time. Have you came across anybody that you felt like you went to for advice or wisdom, um, and they kind of was like half behind giving you information or just gatekeeping,
Define gatekeeping.
All right, so we're going to define gatekeeping. To me, this is my opinion, y'all. Gatekeeping is when you have the knowledge and the information on a topic and refuse to share that knowledge or even share the resources of where to get that knowledge. Like, okay, I'll use the podcast for me, right? I know a lot of people that do podcasts. I know a lot of people that do radio. I know a lot of people that are in the music industry, but you will be surprised at how many people I reached out to that was like, hey, God gave me this vision. This is what, and they were like, oh, I'll help you. And when it came down to it, it was like no information given. Like, can you tell me what type of equipment to get? Like, how do you get the sound to be so crisp? Like, something. I ended up taking like some podcasts, webinars, and just basically doing the research. But even when doing research and Googling, you got 1,000 different microphones, 1,000 different cameras, 1,000 different platforms. And
Right.
so if you have somebody to kind of guide you through, especially if they're successful in it, I'm not trying to take your place, but you could at least give me like an outline or a head start.
I feel you. I feel like, okay, in my personal opinion, right?
Mm-hmm,
In my industry, when it's information I wanted to know, right? Usually the stuff that was free wasn't the good stuff,
mm-hmm,
right?
mm-hmm,
So either I had to pay for it
mm-hmm,
or I had to be clever in how I got it, if that
mm-hmm.
makes sense. So either I had to pay for classes or hair shows or things like that, or I got clever. I would work in the salons with the people that was doing the things I wanted to learn. So I
So
could
with
shadow
that,
them while I was working.
have you ever shadowed somebody and they kind of was mm, like didn't
But if
really
I
want
work
to?
with you, how you gonna tell me not to watch you?
Mm, true.
I'm just saying. So it's not like I'm not really like in your face over your shoulder, but I'm sitting in the chair next to you watching what you're doing. I'm not asking you questions every time you pick up something different, but I'm watching you every day and studying what you're doing. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Things like that. But I'm not gonna be like, I'm not gonna go to somebody in the best salon and be like, hey, teach me how you did this. Or tell me how I can be like you, but expecting to do it for free. I can't do that.
well, it's not even necessarily, see, like my thing was, I don't mind paying you to help me. Like I even asked like, okay, how much you'll charge to kind of teach me how to do the board, or different things like that.
But
um
is that person a teacher? Just because they're good at something doesn't mean they're gonna be the best teacher either.
that's true. That's true. That's true. That is so true. um,
And do they even have the heart to teach you? Maybe it's a good thing they ain't wanna.
well, I mean, it is, listen, one thing that I have
Sometimes you
learned.
might want to just go while they doing it and watch. Be like, hey, can I just sit in while y'all do y'all set? Or just be nosy. Don't necessarily tell them what you're looking for. Just go sit in and see what they're using and take notes and you know.
Well, that's what I eventually end up coming across somebody, and I hate to say it like this, but it wasn't us.
Of course.
And and
Unfortunately, I was gonna say it usually ain't us.
and I
Not
paid and
being
made
funny.
I made the investment, and I took the class. And in this person's class, it was a very small investment, but they had a very large class. So I kind of calculated a profit. Like, I get it. You got a small, it's a small little investment, but I'm gonna give you this information. And the information that they gave us in that class was like, listen, these are the
Like a
systems that
college course.
yeah, these are the systems that you can use. Don't go out and try to buy this, that, and the third, especially if you're starting out. Just, you know, that she gave some great advice. Like, it was like, you're starting off. You're not trying to be this person over here who's been doing podcasts for 30 years.
Right.
People want to see your evolution. They want to
Mhm.
see your growth. They want to see that. So show them that when you're able to go into a podcast studio and record, go into a podcast studio and record. If not, get you a green screen, create a backdrop, and boom, get you a mic.
Right.
This is the platform. They gave a lot of great advice. It was just interesting to me that people that I knew, these weren't people that I did not know. These were people that I knew. Like, we have regular conversations, you know, because I'm the kind of person where, and you know this, if I see a gift in you, or I might see a book in you, or whatever, I'm gonna be like, what we doing? Like, what's, listen, take this, that, and the third. That's always been who I am. Now, I might not give you the whole nitty gritty, but I'm at least give you enough to like start, like, yeah. Oh, and then I'll be like, oh yeah, I teach a class. Like, if you want, like, if you want to know more, I teach a class, or I got a book. But it's just in our culture, I feel like the crab in the barrel is the best way. We don't want to see each other grow, at all.
And most of
So
us didn't really get it like in no class either. Most of us was winging it ourselves. How we gonna teach you something we just barely got ourselves?
don't be on here telling people that you barely know how to do hair.
No,
And
I ain't talking about me. I ain't talking about me. I'm just saying, a lot of times we be going around asking our friends and neighbors and people at church, and they be fronting like they really know what they doing. And a lot of
right,
times they just was watching a bunch of shows on YouTube or something. Like they don't know. We just
right,
think they know.
right.
They
And
don't.
they put on that image as
They
if they do know.
they
Yeah.
make it look good.
So getting back to salon and ministry, we're gonna kind of wrap this a little bit. Um, how do you, or what would you recommend for, let's say, an up and coming stylist or cosmetologist, fresh out of fresh out of school, just got a license? What would be some advice that you would give her or him?
Fresh out of school, fresh out, just got her license. The typical person fresh out of school, just got a license, is typically not going to have a big clientele. So I would typically say do one or two things. Either go to a salon that has that is going to pay you commission, that has a good walk-in rate, meaning you're going to get a lot of walk-in clients. So you'll be
Okay.
guaranteed an hourly rate, or you can make a commission, meaning you're gonna get whichever one is gonna be higher. Meaning you're not gonna just be sitting there not making money. You're gonna make some kind of money, even if it's just minimum wage. You're gonna make some money, but you're gonna be able to practice your skills, and you're gonna have a steady, some type of walk-in clientele. Or go to the salon where there are people doing the skills that you want to learn. Right? That way you can shadow those people and learn what they're doing. In those salons, a lot of times, if you don't have clientele, you can at least work as their assistant. So you can at least learn, I mean, you can at least make a little bit of money as their assistant. Or maybe you have a little bit of clientele, so you can practice on your clientele and make a little money as their assistant. But then you're gaining the skills that you feel like you want from the stylists that are already there, if that makes sense. But if you're fresh out of school, you
Mm-hmm.
need to be doing one of the two. You don't typically need to be going into a studio. You don't need to be trying to open your own salon or anything like that. You need to be somewhere where you can work on your skills and gain clientele. Those two.
Okay. What advice will you give to just an entrepreneur in general? Like, say for somebody who is wanting to come off of their 9 to 5 and be full-time entrepreneur, what advice would you give them?
Just in general,
Mm-hmm. From a business perspective, as a business owner.
as a business owner, you want to quit your 9 to 5 and go straight into whatever your dream passion is.
Mm-hmm.
Don't stop. It's gonna be hard. There are gonna be days where you don't know where the money's coming from, but make sure this, whatever this is that you're willing to lay everything on the line for, it has to be a passion. It cannot be some get rich quick scheme. This has to be something you're gonna do even when you don't make money. If you don't love it, don't do it. You have to love it. Even when the money isn't there, you're gonna have to love it. If you won't, if you can't, if you don't want to do it for free, don't do it.
Oh, that's
Because
good.
you're not always gonna make money. Some days you're not, the money's not gonna be there. Or some days you're gonna be making money that you gotta give away the bills. You're not gonna be taking any money home. So if you don't love it enough to do it when you can't keep the money, don't do it.
And in my last question, well, last couple of questions for you, um, when you look towards the future for yourself and for Danielle's hair therapy salon, without giving too many nuggets, because they really gonna have to just come and pop up on you to get some of the experiences, y'all. Give us an idea of where you see yourself in the future when it comes to Danielle's hair therapy salon.
Look, my Dr. Evil laugh. Um, oh goodness, girl. It's so many levels to that. Um, in the future,
Mm-hmm.
I definitely mm, you said without giving too much away though.
Well,
Danielle's hair
when I say not giving too much away is
because I'm always dreaming. I always got big
you have
plans.
big dreams and you have big plans. And I asked that question because since this is going to be published, it's going to hold you accountable. Um, so when I say not giving too much away, you ain't got to give like, oh, I want this on the wall and that on the wall and da 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 da. But you
Oh
can kind of
no.
give like a generalized perspective. If I was to walk into your salon as a new client in the future, what would be my experience and what would I visualize?
It will always be a hair therapy experience. The question is, how much of an experience will hair therapy be? But
Okay.
it's hair therapy. How much therapy can hair be? How deep, how far can I take it? How therapeutic can I make your hair experience? I mean,
Y'all, I'm laughing because I know the answer to
I
this question.
like I like putting my clients to sleep. I
Listen,
mean,
and it'd be a
my
good sleep
clients
too.
come for the shampoo experience. I mean, don't get me wrong, my clients love their hair when they leave, but my clients like the shampoo bowl.
I'm gonna just tell y'all right now. I'm telling you, people are gonna start coming just because of the shampoo bowl. We're gonna talk about the shampoo bowl. Listen, come get your scalp cleaned and
Because a
get some
lot of
hair
salons,
therapy.
I can't believe salons don't shampoo anymore. Like what?
Yeah, it's an extra charge. It's not that they don't. It's just like it's an extra charge.
Why
Like,
are you going to the salon and not getting your hair clipped? That's a
but
whole nother podcast.
why are you doing people hair and their hair dirty? You don't know how clean their hair is.
That's a whole nother podcast.
It
Look, I
is.
need a whole podcast to myself just for that conversation right there.
So listen, y'all, I will, since we have talked about this shampoo experience, she has allowed the Royal Remnant community to take a dive into the experience. We got to figure out how we're going to do all of that, the logistics behind it. But when I go get my hair retwisted, I will bring you all along. so you can understand what we're talking about. Okay.
And it still
Um,
won't do it any justice because they can't feel it.
because they can't feel it, but they'll probably be seeing me sleep on it on that chair. They go, they're snoring it off. So Danielle, when we end the podcast, I like to ask every guest just one simple question. It's a fill in the blank. And whatever is the first word that comes to mind, that's what I want you to say. Okay.
Okay.
I am proud to be Black because Black is
Beautiful.
this is simple, right? All right. Well, y'all, we have been on here long enough. Thank you all for joining part 1 of me and Danielle's The Crown Experience. Stay tuned for part 2. If you have not liked and subscribed, please like and subscribe. If you have not went and followed her already, please go follow her. You can find her at, say your social media handles again.
Danielle's Hair Therapy Salon on
It's
all
on
social media.
all social media. And your website is Hair
Danielle
Therapy.
Hair Therapy by Danielle.com. Sorry.
So it's
Hair
flipped. It's
Therapy
Hair
by
Therapy by Danielle.
Danielle.com.
Go check her out. Book an experience, y'all. I promise you it'll be the best investment you've ever had in your life. She also has subscriptions for those who want to just pay a lump sum and just book your appointment. She has that option for you. She is absolutely amazing. So be sure to check her out. And again, thank you all for tuning in. And I hope you all have a blessed and wonderful day.